Sweet.
Can't tell from the thing. Alright, today's the day we're dropping this engine in this car. Took way too dang long, so we'll get right into it and put her in there.
Heck yeah. She's all in there. Fan out of the way real quick. Boy, that looks freaking good. That looks really freaking good. Yeah, so I'm talking about. Alright, well, I'm gonna get some more of the accessories and stuff buttoned up. So still gotta do the intake, all the wiring, get the whole harness bolted in or plugged in, do the exhaust manifold. That's something I really need to make sure, because I know this head was a little bit machined differently than the one on the other engine over here. So dang, bro, it's coming along. We're almost there. It's the home stretch, and then we get to fire her up and see what happens. I don't think I showed this in the last video or any of the videos, but I made this little like harness basically because I didn't want to have a bunch of stuff back there. So this got my idle air control valve and my intake air temp sensor in there. I don't know if you can see it, but right above the alternator there's a little 4-pin plug, and that's what this hooks up to. Nice, makes everything super easy. I forgot I had this. I was freaking out for a second. Oh, great. One of my wires wet. But they're all here. So nothing to worry about. It might be a little windy, but when we get the battery tray on, I just put this ground on. Here's the transmission. Made my own little ground because I took off the factory ground wire. Very nice. Alright, before I get too deep into everything, I'm gonna get the starter on. Alright. Well, I got the starter installed. I guess the video clip of that like glitched out, which is weird. But that's in there, so I'm gonna hook up the wires for it. Should just be a couple of little wires here. Not too crazy. I hope this all reaches. I'm gonna get this the most important ground fixed here real quick. Well, not fixed, but attached. Can't forget this one on the thermostat housing. You don't have that, nothing will happen. Guess I could do that lower radiator hose. So I am gonna have to cut this radiator hose because I have a different hose coming up from the radiator. So it'll have to get trimmed. It should be like cut like right around here or something like that. But it looked pretty good. So I decided to get that on. And spray bottle. Getting ready to put on the custom headers that I made, and just gonna grab the nuts and we can slide this board on there. Let it chill for a sec. That'd be alright though. Looks pretty good already. I was gonna put the radiator in and everything, but I'm gonna wait until after I get the exhaust completely put on. Just because it's kind of a pain to work with so little room. I know I have more room with the radiator setup I have, but honestly it's a lot easier being able to reach everything from right here with the whole, basically the whole front end pulled off. But once that's on, radiator, intake manifold, it'll be time for fluids at that point. Already got the distributor on, kind of did that, kind of seamless, that stuff. Got it knocked out. Probably put the distributor in. Alright, something I'm super excited to share with y'all is I got this fill pot from Track-Tough. So this is kind of gonna help out with a lot of the routing issues I was having, and it'll kind of get that top radiator hose right where I want it. So that's why I ended up picking this up. And I've always wanted to have one of these. I think they just look super cool. So I'm gonna get this tape ripped off here. I think I need to put Honda Bond on this. Not entirely sure, but Pretty sure. Pretty sick. And I'm about to be one of those guys now with that thing. That looks pretty dang good. Get this hose in the nice spot. Shoot, pretty cool. Well, I think I'm gonna call it for tonight. Get some rest. Come back at this tomorrow and get the exhaust on. Figure out how I'm going to do this lower radiator hose and go from there. Alright y'all, it's the next day. I'll show you guys, I guess really installing this intake manifold again. If y'all are doing this, it's pretty much how you're going to be doing it. Your engine's already going to be in the car. And should be pretty straightforward from here, honestly. I did find out this manifold is, or not this manifold, this gasket is thick enough to prevent you from having to drill anything. So that's great. Freaking love it. I don't have to do any sort of modification to this manifold. So I got some of the fuel lines hooked up. Not all of them, I still got a couple more to do. But I figured while I'm here, it'd be a good time to put this injector sub harness that I made in here. No, it kind of looks like a mess, but it's really not. Like, I know pretty much where all this stuff goes. Once you do it like once or twice, you know, it's pretty easy every time after that. This is another little custom harness I got made. Talked about that already. But yeah, this one is for the injectors. Those plugged in. This is what my map sensor block looks like. If you guys end up hitting up Justin to get this adapter manifold kit, this is an option you can get. I would pretty highly recommend this. I'm running the K-Series map sensor because it's got better resolution down low. All four of these you'll see up top. You got these small brass ports right here. These will all connect to one of those, run to here, and that'll provide your map signal. This extra one right here is what is going to run off of this fuel pressure regulator, and that's how I'm going to get the accurate fuel pressure. Y'all might remember I got the ports, the bigger ports on the bottom of the adapter manifold, and those are going to run to the idle air control valve. which I still have no idea where I'm going to put yet, but I'm going to find out here shortly once I get some of this kind of cleaned up. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. So I'm actually going to cut these. Well, hopefully I don't have to cut these zip ties. I'm going to try to not cut these zip ties and get all these wrapped in some loom, so that way they look nice, and then we'll go from there. So I got a few other things put on behind the scenes. Throttle cable. Ended up using a throttle cable from an EG. Worked out perfectly. Stock OEM cable. Got the rest of the exhaust on, at least the headers. Put the clutch cable on. Did the hoses for the radiator. Radiator's mounted. T-bracket mounted. Got the map sensor block mounted, as well as the idle air control valve. So that's like right here. Coolant temp sensor, like the actual, it's like a gauge for it. Trying to think what else I did. I think that's about it. Put a quart of oil in here just to kind of get everything coated before I put the valve cover on, which is what I am about to do right now. So just gotta get some gray RTV on here, and then we'll be good to go. Got the little dabs of Honda Bond on there. This thing keeps popping up on the backside. It's probably not gonna stay, but we'll see what happens. Alright, finally got the clutch cable on, which is being a little bit of a pain because it's a new throwout bearing. New throwout bearing and new clutch. So it's kind of a pain to get that on there, but it worked out. It's alright. Just get this clutch cable the rest of the way mounted on here. Got a spot there for it, and one spot back here. That looks really good. Let y'all take a little preview of that. Ton of room right there. That was probably like 2 inches, maybe 3 inches almost. Just gotta get it mounted. And everything up on the wall right there. And this might be a little ghetto, but literally no one's gonna see it. That's how I got the idle air control valve to mount down there. Everything's hooked up underneath. I guess you can kind of see it down there, but nobody's gonna be looking that hard. But that's pretty much what it's gonna look like when it's all done. Like I said, I just gotta mount that up. I put a quart of oil in it just to cover the cam. And then gotta go buy new spark plugs for this. Redo the axles. The coilovers come in next week. But yeah, I gotta redo the boots at the ends because they were flinging grease everywhere. So I'm gonna do that. But it can be done cleanly. This is what it would look like. Just crazy. Just got the coilovers installed on both sides, and the last little bits of the radiator system or coolant system is all tightened up. So I think I'm ready to add some coolant now. Closer, okay. I'm not gonna start it up tonight because it's already pretty late, and I don't want to wake anybody up. But tomorrow, I'll put some oil in it, in the engine and in the transmission, and I should be firing it up tomorrow. There ain't nothing else stopping me from doing it. So, oh, maybe the alternator belt. Probably should put that on, and the spark plugs. Can't forget that. Those couple things. I definitely need those. And then yeah, then it's basically ready to go. It's currently the next day, just getting the transmission filled up with some oil. See it all the way down there. So I made this little thing because it's kind of a pain to hook up a bottle or hook up a hose to that and do it through there. It just takes forever. This is a lot faster. I just poured this out and I'm just letting it drip in. In case y'all were wondering why this video's been so loud, I got this fan going. So you can tell here, it's like 93. Yeah, probably 93, 94 degrees. So it is cooking out here. So I know that thing is loud. I was doing some editing and this thing's super freaking loud. But it is stinking hot out here, man. So just trying to stay cool. But I'm gonna put the second bottle in here and get her filled up all the way. And we'll go from there and get some engine oil in there. I already put coolant in last night, so get some engine oil in there and see what happens. Well, so I was gonna fire this thing up today, but I just decided, you know, what a great time it'd be to replace the water pump right now. Now that I found out it's coming out the bottom weep hole, so there's two of them on this one. There's one up here and one down here, and it is going right through that. So I did not get lucky. I thought I was gonna be able to use that one again. Just because it came off this engine and it was running just fine. So now I got to get another water pump. I do have a second one on hand, but I don't like the finish on that and it just looks a little whack. So I might just wait till tomorrow for a new one to come in and get that installed, and then we should be good to go. As y'all saw, I got the oil in the transmission. I haven't put any oil yet in the engine, but I'll do that here shortly. So I'm just waiting for this to all drain out. And we should be good to go. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. I just love unscheduled maintenance. It's my favorite part. Alright, I just got the new, I don't know how you say that, ASIN. Basically an OEM water pump. Just got it in the mail about a minute ago. So I'm gonna slap this thing on, get it timed, and go from there. So I didn't realize the OEM ones come with the actual like formed gasket. So when I got that old water pump that I had on here. I got it from AutoZone, and it had the same like finish and quality as this one, but it was a Duralast. So maybe they were getting them supplied from the OEM company, and now they just don't do that anymore. But who knows? Well, I'm gonna get this thing on, fill her up with coolant, make sure everything's all buttoned up, and then prime the oil pressure, battery, all that whole nine, and try and get her started today. Also, you probably noticed I got most of the front end put back together, so I got the fenders on, this little bumper filler, mud flaps. So I'm gonna wait to put the front bumper on just until everything else is done. That way I know, I'm done. I don't gotta worry about nothing, and it's less stuff to spill any sort of fluids onto. So also got the exhaust reworked. Oh, I was so tired. Finished this at like 4 the other morning, but had to redo that little spot in front of the resonator because the resonator is hitting the body. These mounts, man, they just move the engine just enough. Like the whole engine is like forward and shifted like that just a little bit, and that was enough to move that whole thing over to where it's touching the body. So now it's not touching, which is good. So I'm gonna get to it. Give it a start. See what happens. It did start up. Didn't sound too bad. Now I just gotta hook up the laptop, start checking everything on the tune. Get it dialed in. It really wasn't that bad.